It's a Monday off. President's Day. I was just watching stuff. I was like, you know what? I'll just watch stuff on stream. Mixed bag reactions, not just music. It could be pretty much anything, really. Whoa. Whoa. What happened there? You heard that sound? You know, without any video on the screen, that sounds very raunchy. Let's hear that again. Oh, what are we watching together, gentlemen? What is this, Men of Culture Hour? Is that what we're doing? It's hot. I know it's not on the screen yet. I'll put it on the screen when it becomes less spicy. No. This video is why this Tokyo governor candidate unclothed herself in Japan's biggest direct democratic election. This obviously got my attention for obvious reasons. Shout out to the channel that made this possible. Asia Analysis with Al and Helen. Let's check this out. I'm curious. Why did this Tokyo governor candidate unclothe herself? That is an interesting way. I mean, it's we'll see if it's effective. If she wins, oh yeah. No. She doesn't unclothe herself entirely. No way. No way does she do that.
When we think of a typical governmental election in any given country, whether it be gubernatorial or at a national level, we usually...
Wow, that voice, it's starting to sound... I don't know if the voice they use for the channel is like AI generated or not, but it's starting to kind of sound like it. I've seen some things from this channel that I like, so it's not a dab on them, it's just a voice.
We do not imagine it to be, well, a clown show. Just a number of
Well, isn't that what politics is now anymore?
Your political candidates wearing suits, making promises of improvement in areas such as taxation, city or national budget allocations, etc., in which they'll most likely hastily forget about once they actually get elected. And the island nation of Japan is unfortunately no exception to this, with just how relatively boring the nation's political scene is for the most part. And although I'm no expert, I probably know this rather bland nature of Japanese politics better than the average person, as I majored in global political economy at the Department of Political Science and Economics at a Japanese...
Okay, so this guy knows what he's talking about.
University, spending years studying Japanese politics. But with that said, there is one distinct Japanese political phenomena that's actually quite fascinating, or at least somewhat entertaining in the sense that it will at least give you a bit of a good laugh when you're having a bad day. And that is the type of political candidates that appear in the Tokyo gubernatorial elections, which happens every 4
Oh my god. Hey, got my interest though, okay?
years in Japan.
Sell that damn Rolex on your wrist before raising taxes. That's right. I can stand behind that message. You want to raise taxes? How about you guys start taking some pay cuts?
つけてるロレックスのデートだから先に売らんかい。この国で生きてても人生辛いことばっかり。人生はひどいか。
The time was after Second War. Japan was fucking confusing, and I was confusing too.
この国は最悪だ。私には建設的
I don't have any damn constructive plans.
な提案なんか一つもない。こんなくだらない国は
The only way left is to abandon this country.
もはや滅ぼす以外にない。改革なんかいくらやったって無駄だ。
Reforms and such are of no use. I like Doomer, man. I like the Doomer.
ぶっちゃけて言えばもはや政府転覆し
Look, man, if there was a Japanese version of Command and Conquer, this would be Kane.
かない。私が当選したら奴らはビビる。私もビビる。
The ones who are in position would be scared. That's what
選
will
挙で何も
change
変
with
わらないんだよ。
That's right. That's right. That's what will change with them.
たったたったたったたったたったたったたったテレビの前の皆さん、スマイル。10度、20度、30度、10度、20度、30度、10度、20度、30度、10度、
30% of what?
20度、
30,
30度。
30 degrees? What are you talking about?
スマイル。
Brought to you by our book. Oh, yeah, they sell a book. I don't know if it's any good or not, but check it out, I guess.
And the recent 2024 Tokyo gubernatorial election was no exception when it came to producing.
Let's get to the meat of this. I'm going to jump to the meat of this here. This chick right here. This chick right here, okay? Is she really unclothing herself, and why? Tell me about this.
Where the entire nation of Japan was watching, she stripped off her clothes in front of the camera, leaving her with only a skin-colored tube top on. Many media sources actually blurred the tube top portion when reporting, which somehow made it worse in terms of how it looked, due to the skin-colored tone of the clothing. So then the question has to be asked, why on earth did she pull this off? Was it...
Do you not know why she did that? Does anyone not know why she did that? For the same reason why all the other guys dressed up as clowns in various ways. For attention. For attention. Oh, attention. It's politics. They want to get the most attention on them. And I mean she played all she could really do there, huh?
Perhaps because she had some grand political message that she wanted to get across to the Japanese people and just needed the extra something to attract attention and actually get people to listen to what she has to say.
Oh, they're not listening to what she's saying, but they're definitely paying attention to her.
In order for her to be the next governor of Tokyo, well, the best way for us to find that out is to watch the entirety of her 6-minute live broadcast.
東京都知事候補者、かわいい私の政見
Or
放
watch my
送
cute political broadcast party. Okay.
を見てね、内野愛理、31歳。
31 years old. She doesn't look
みんな
31.
会えたね。どうも、私が
She looks like
可愛いで
25.
有名な内野愛理です。今
Fictional. Okay.
可愛いと思った？
Just think I was cute?
カメラの前のあなた。
One
そ
in
う、
front of the camera? Yes, you.
あなたよ。カメラさん、
Hey,
そんな目で見
cameraman.
ないで。
Don't look at me like that.
可愛いからってダメよ。
Just flirting with the cameraman.
やだ。こんなに見つめられちゃって恥ずかしい。
You're embarrassed.
私は愛理。内野愛理。知ってる人は知っている。知らない人は覚えてね。LINE の QR
I'm
コ
going
ー
to
ドを
make
公
my
開してる
line
ので、
QR code public.
私と
But
お友
please
達
be
になっ
my
てください。
friend.
内野
Uchino.
愛理。内野愛理。どうですか？
How
そろ
about
そろ
have you memorized it
覚え
now?
られたかな？
You might need I might need some help.
内野愛理チャンネル。
Give me a reason to remember it.
内野愛理チャンネルで検索して。そこから LINE の QR コードからお友達になって、私と楽しいことしよう。はあ、暑いね。
Oh,
緊張でもう暑くて困っちゃうわ。
there we go. Oh, you're so embarrassed, but yet you're doing it.
可愛いだけじゃなくて、
Not only am I
Sexy
cute,
でしょ。
but also sexy, right?
どう？
How is it? Well, I mean, lady, you're hiding it behind this this podium here, so not really much of a tease.
やだ。そんな目で見ないで。
Don't look at you like that.
うちの愛理。そろそろ覚えた？うちの愛理です。皆さん、LINE のお友達登録してね。ちゃんと一人一人、心を込めて
I reply to every one of you with my heart.
お返事するので、
Huh.
メッセージ待ってます。
Paired with this ominous music, it kind of has like a dark frame to it. It seems like there's this like weird, seedy, underlying psychological horror element to this, but
愛理って名前、すごく可愛いと思わない？名前だけじゃないよね。
and it's not just my
顔
name.
も
My face, my voice, my
声
actions.
も
Aren't they all
なんな
cute?
ら仕草も変わっ
The way you're selling it, telling me it's not cute though. Like this is a weird way to sell it. Honestly, I'm a man of culture. Hey, look, I like skin, okay? But the way she's doing this, it almost seems like it's sinister. Like she's not even trying to hide it at all of her like sinister intentions to to try to charm you with her cuteness and her looks. So she could raise those taxes and all that,
可愛いんじゃない？
Yeah, you're gonna have to do better on selling.
知ってる。ありがとう。
Wow. I actually said that. There's a woman who is stripping herself on camera for running for election, and I, a man of culture, is saying she needs to do better. That it's not going to work on me. Wow.
可愛いでしょ。
But you keep on saying I'm cute, right? Now I'm thinking you're not cute, and you know you're not cute. Now you have insecurities. It's like that scene from 40-Year-Old Virgin, and he takes home the drunk lady. She's like, "Am I pretty? Am I pretty? Tell me I'm pretty. Am I pretty? Am I pretty? You're not looking at me. Am I pretty?" It's like, "Yeah, you're pretty." It's like that. It's like whenever a girl keeps on repeating the question, "Am I cute? I'm cute, right? I'm cute. I'm cute." It's like, shut up, shut up, shut up.
やだ。
It just comes across as extremely insecure and yeah.
な、エリーさんこっちのこと見ないで。恥ずかしい。そんな目で見られたら困っちゃう。
You don't know what to do.
カメ
You
ラの
obviously don't know what to say. Like, what are you running on?
前のあなたも今変な目で見たでしょ。
Her
私の
bone is popping out of her shoulder there. That looks. Is that the
恥ずかしい
bone or
か
is
ら。
it just the lighting? Looks
続きは
bad.
後で。
Take our next step later. What are you gonna do? Sleep with everyone that like subscribes to you? A lot of people.
アイリーって言葉知ってる？すごく可愛い言葉なの。
Wow, it's almost over. Then maybe we'll
嬉
get
し
it.
い、楽しい
I'm、waiting for the exclamation of this.
幸せって意味の言葉。私もアイリなの。
All right.
すごく幸せな女って
You're a very happy woman.
ことだよね。
Yeah, I'm not convinced about that. Think you're
やっぱり
sad.
みんな私とお友達にならな
If
い
you do
の
not
ってす
become
ご
friends with me, that will be very regrettable. What, is that a threat?
くもったいないと思うの。だってこんなにこんなに可愛く
Because
て
there's a girl
面
who's as
白い
cute
女
as
な
fun
かな
as
か
me.
いないよ。
Uh-huh.
政見放送の収録中にお腹鳴る人あんまりいないよ。
Your
ね、
stomach's growling because you starve yourself, lady.
みんな私と友達になんなきゃダメだよ。
Have a rice ball.
うちの愛理。ちゃんと覚えた？好きな食べ物はお肉、お魚、げんこつうなぎ。
This is like the face she's making is the face I've seen in like Japanese horror movies when the girl's about to snap. Like
覚えてね。
this seems scary.
うちの
Unnerving.
愛理。みんな検索してね。本当
But
に
but don't get twisted. I mean, I definitely would hit it. I mean, that's not a
覚えた？うちの愛理だよ。
like voting for
うち
it.
の
No.
愛理。じゃ、ごめんなすって。
Uh-huh.
東京都知事候補者、かわいい私の政見放送を見てね、内野愛理さんの放送でした。
Now, we wanted to share the full broadcast, as we
Okay.
did not want to look as if we were cherry-picking the things that she said within her speech. And with that said, we believe all of us can now agree on the fact that there is absolutely no political message set from her part whatsoever.
That's right. No political message. It's just a lot of insecurity.
Alone some profound message. She just continues repeating her name, constantly reminds everyone to remember it, as well as ingraining the idea to the audience that she's not only cute but also sexy, and to scan her QR code so that they can talk and become friends. This is literally the entirety of her speech.
Oh, and there's going to be suckers for that. That will do that, and they will form this parasocial relationship, and that they will think they have this connection with this person. And the person that they're talking to is really just either a bot or some dude in India or whatever. It's not even her. So it's suckers. That whole presentation was aimed at rolling in suckers, and there's lots of suckers out there.
So then, why does she want all of us to remember her name so much if she has no intention to become the governor of Tokyo and is not even sure of whether she'll pursue politics?
She's selling her OnlyFans, or the OnlyFans equivalent over there in Japan, or whatever it is. It's just it's to make money. It's to make money.
After this election campaign, well, the truth was actually embodied in the QR code that ID shared during her live election broadcast. Now, she repeatedly asked the viewers, which in this case were the Japanese voters, to add her on the Messenger app line through the QR code that she shared and become friends with her. But then, to the disappointment of many of the Japanese voters, we are assuming voters mostly of the male gender living in Tokyo, who hastily added her as a friend online and were excited for this potential friendship between them and ID. A generic friendship is not what ID really wanted. If you were to add
No way. What? And if you thought that, dude, you are a dead brain moron. I have to tell you that, man.
ID's QR code shown on her campaign poster, it actually did indeed lead you.
Hey, you want to know how you know if you are too dumb to live? If you'd fall for a message like this and fully believe that, like, oh man, I'm gonna scan the QR code, be friends. Okay. Yeah. All right.
To what seemed to be ID's personal line messenger account. And it does seem to be the case that many in Japan did try to add ID on the Messenger app, as people soon were not able to become friends with her online, as ID has already reached the limit of friends that she could receive on the app, which as of now Line has set as 5,000 friends. So with that said, due to the sheer number of people who contacted ID after her live election broadcast, it does seem to be the case that she could not reply to everyone who sent her a message. But to people who did manage to get a reply from her, we are going to be guessing that there will be basic self-introductions back and forth between ID and the person who messaged, such as how
Are we just guessing, or do you have someone who did that? Please tell me you have someone who actually received a message from her and had some sort of exchange, because I'm curious and I'm willing to bet that it's all just like a bot or some sort of automated thing, which, I mean, that's what a bot is. I don't know why they do that part, but
they are, what city they're originally from, what they do for a living, etc, etc. And when the time comes, when they introduce what their occupations are, ID most likely told the person of what she does, which is the fact that she runs a small bar at Nakano by the name of Bar Idea, literally titled after her name.
oh, she's plugging her bar. Come to the bar, buy drinks.
You guys can probably imagine how the conversation would flow from that point onwards. Her replies would most likely get slower, as she, without exaggeration, did have around 5,000 new friends on the Messenger app who are probably waiting for her to text back. So how if the particular Tokyoite who messaged her wanted to talk to her a bit more, they may just perhaps consider visiting her at her bar in Nakano. Or
That's right, where they could continue to be friends. Oh, but you still got to pay for the drinks. Oh, but you could like do like a fake friend discount, you know? Oh, yeah, I'll sell you the drinks at a discount because you're a friend. It's really just the same price, you know? You just raise the other price, you know, to make it look like a sell.
might not even have directly told them to visit her bar. The simplest Google search or the very bio page of her Twitter account shows that she's the owner of Bar Idea and the exact shift hours when she'll be working for the month. So for some people living in Tokyo who wanted to have a deeper, or as Idea would put it, a more heartful conversation with her, they might just voluntarily head to her bar for a meal and a drink. And it is not like as if she ran some extremely overcharged scammy establishment. She apparently charges 1,200 yen for either a tomato or a cream-based pasta, and 500 yen for the more basic appetizers.
It's 500 yen. That's like, what, $5? Yeah. That's not a lot of money. Huh. But, all right. Okay. I'm surprised she's not selling OnlyFans or something equivalent to that. Okay. Wow,
she charges 25,000 yen for a bottle of champagne, which for the whole bottle, although definitely higher than the retail price, is still far from the scammy host club type establishments in Japan that are trying to charge 1,000 plus or sometimes even 10,000 plus USD for a bottle of champagne to their visitors. And if you plan to travel to Japan in the future, you can indeed see Airi if you head to her bar for a drink on one of the days when she's on shift. So there you go. On the facade, this seems to be our answer. She took the risk of unclothing herself on live Japanese television in front of millions of viewers so that she could indirectly advertise her business establishment that is named after herself. And we also initially thought that this was the primary reason for her stunt as well. However, we still have to ask, was this actually all worth it for Airi? And was
it all worth it? That's a silly question to ask. Is it worth it? You yourself just said that after she did that, like she was contacted by so many people scanning the QR code that she reached her friend limit. That you couldn't friend her because she couldn't get any more friends on the freaking platform that is Line. She reached maximum friends. She went full 9,000 on the friend status. Okay, and if only like 1%. If only 1% of those people go to her bar, that's still a positive for her. That's still a win. I mean, I'm not sure what it costs to run for election, but it's an interesting stunt. High visibility. Yeah, she's not even that pretty. A lot of people be desperate. Oh, you know it. You know it, man. Sometimes it's not even really about the look. Sometimes it's just about the conquest for certain guys. But then again, we're talking about, dude, like I said, like I couldn't imagine like Okay, actually I can. Honestly, if something like this happened here, if there was some candidate that got on TV and made a stunt like this, I already know, the neighbors and I would probably drunkenly try to friend her, but that's as far as it'll go. It'd be like, okay, because it's not like you actually care about what she stands for or anything. She stands for nothing. It's not a real political thing at all. It's just a bunch of crap. It's just a stunt for attention. And she's going to get that attention. She's going to get it. She's going to get it. And, wow. But there's people who like really want a friendship with her, even though it'd probably be all fake and scammy and all that stuff. Yeah.
It's really the only reason for her stripping at one of the nation's biggest political elections. In an interview conducted during her governor campaign period,
Don't tell me she's crying about it. Hey, don't cry. You can't cry about the bed you made. All right. If you don't like the way you made the bed before you got into it, that's on you. You made it.
There's a video of her crying multiple times due primarily to the harsh criticism that she received from the Japanese public.
Okay, dude, when I see this stuff, cry me a river, cry me the biggest river you can, because I have no sympathy. I have no sympathy for that. Like, you stepped into the rake and it plowed you right in the face, and you want to cry about that. It was you placed that rake on the ground before you stepped on it. Okay?
Public. And to be brutally honest, we cannot totally blame some of the people in Japan for chastising Airi's actions.
Right. Yeah. She made herself a clown. She got on live TV and stripped on a. What do you think she was going to get?
Where she conducted her act of unclothing was not for some kind of a TV commercial. It was not only in front of an adult-only audience. She did this literally at a NHK, which is
yes. This was like this was broadcast to everyone. Family-friendly TV. You know, after some family-friendly programming, we're gonna have this program about who's people running for politics or whatever. And you have this woman stripping. Yeah, I can imagine some upset moms and dads being like, what is this hoe doing? What is this hoe doing? Do we have insane asylums in Japan? We need them because she needs to be in there. Who's her daddy? Okay, does he know what she did? You know, I can imagine it going there, and I wouldn't blame them.
It's essentially Japan's equivalent of the BBC election campaign broadcast with no age restriction, meaning many young children would also have watched her live broadcast. Furthermore, she absolutely made no attempt whatsoever to discuss anything that was even remotely related to what the broadcast was actually supposed to be about.
Right. It was nothing about that. It was nothing about what the broadcast was about at all. It's all about selling her name and having people remember who she is because of her stunt so she could sell her bar. Like, that part I totally get, and I think it's funny, and, you know, it's whatever. Like, it works for her. Like, but she can't cry about the backlash she got from it either. When you play with fire, you're gonna get burned. Okay? Sure, it's entertaining to play with fire. It's cool, people watch, you know, right? But you're gonna get burned in the process. You can't complain about that. That's stupid.
About which was for the gubernatorial candidates for the 2024 Tokyo governor race
to
state their
visibility.
aspirations and pledges regarding what they plan on doing if they're to be voted as Tokyo's next governor. As in, she could have at least perfunctorily just said one sentence regarding governmental policy, such as how she plans to decrease income tax for citizens of a certain income bracket and so on.
Yeah, she could have done that.
2番目に億万長者の多い都市はどこでしょうか。ブッブー。答えはここ、東京です。お金持ちは敵ではありません。お金持
The
ち
rich are not our enemies. Let's have policies that prioritize the rich.
優遇で富を豊かに。
That'll go over well with the Sans audience.
As ridiculed as he is, even the Joker candidate still gave a pledge on what he would do.
Yeah, like the Joker candidate it's all shock too, but at least it goes with it. You know, I like the funny theatrical comedian candidates. It kind of makes a joke, a mockery of the whole like political system and all that. Okay.
Once he became the governor of Tokyo,
And I'm sure they get
一番
backlash
問
too.
題のある町は港区です。港区に住んでるやつが調子に乗りすぎて腹立つという問題がありますね。そこで私が都知事になったらこういたします。港区と足立区の名称を入れ替えて、港区のことは今後足立区と呼ばせることにいたします。港区女子のことは皆さん今後足立区女子って呼んでください。私が当選した
If I follow that correctly, he's gonna switch the name of the wards. Okay. I don't know if it works that way.
らこういたします。西武新宿駅の名称を変更し、今後は立ちんぼ売春駅という名称に変更いたします。
but Airi did not even make the slightest of attempt to take any action that would remind the people who are watching her on television that she was a gubernatorial candidate. And when it comes to the was it worth it question regarding the advertising effect that
I want to hear her cry. I want to see her cry, and I want to laugh at her as she cries and makes stupid excuses. We already know she's gonna say something like, "Oh, what do you think she's gonna say? Visibility? that they mocked her, that they called her a whore, or the equivalent of a whore.
The live broadcast had on the sales number an increase in popularity of her bar? Well, although not definite, the answer seems to be a no. Ever since her act of unclothing in the Tokyo
To say, Adsuki Soba, thank you for the meal. I'll sub by again when I'm having a business trip to Tokyo.
gubernatorial elections in June 2024, there were literally two additional Google reviews written from customers ever since then, and in table log.
Okay. That's kind of funny. Hold on. So after all that, there's only 2 new reviews. Now, hold on. Not every patron is going to write a review. In fact, I would argue that like less than 1% write a review, especially a good review. Like, if you're satisfied at a restaurant or at a bar, do you take the time to write a review? Who does that? Like, you'd have to be drunk or something. It doesn't. Why would you waste your time with that? Now, if you're mad about it, and you want to let people know that it sucks, then yeah, you might. But, that's not really a good indicator whether or not it really worked for her. That's not how you measure that at all. A better way to measure that would be, I don't know, ask her. I don't know if we get that. Like, how much foot traffic did you get after that? What were your sales like after that? I guess there's something coming.
Literally 2 additional Google reviews written from customers ever since then, and in table log, her bar still only has 3 total reviews, with all reviews
That still doesn't really.
written before her election broadcast. Now, not everyone in Japan who visits a bar goes around writing their reviews on Google.
Right. And same thing in the States. Like, who writes reviews? Yeah, reviews almost always end up bad because people like to complain. Yeah, exactly.
Reviews or other relevant online websites, so let us keep that in mind. However,
The good reviews are, I always assume the good reviews are like maybe the owner, or friends of the owner, family of the owner, things like that.
it is still also safe to state that her act at the live NHK broadcast did not have some nation shaking.
I don't know how you can say it's safe to say that with just judge on this. That's not a barometer for this. This is not how you measure this at all. At all. So that's kind of dumb. I disagree, and I actually think that analysis is actually quite stupid.
Well, advertising effect for her bar, as many may believe, especially when in consideration of how every
It's like you're using something that isn't even used to measure for that as a way to measure for it. It's like, what? It's like, instead of using a ruler or tape measure to actually measure like the length of some boards for whatever, you just like kind of be like, well, the few people that I know said the board was this size, so I'm going to go with that. That doesn't even make any sense. That doesn't. Oh my God. I know that was like in the moment, a metaphor there. I think a better one would be, well, I don't really need that, because just put this in perspective. He's saying that, okay, he's trying to measure there was an increased amount of foot traffic and sales for this bar. So instead of getting, well, like the amount of foot traffic, maybe maybe a number about the amount of sales after, before and after the whole stunt, he goes, we're going to look at reviews. We're going to look at Google reviews and whatever establishment reviews as a sign to way to measure that. When the same bar itself wouldn't use those reviews to measure its success and foot traffic and sales and all that. A company's not looking at Google reviews or any of those reviews for like how they're doing. That's not what they're doing with that. As far as increase in sales.
Candidate running to be the governor has to make a deposit payment of 3 million yen for their candidacy slot, which in Airi's case would have somewhat been considered as a business investment, and it is hard to say that from a payoff standpoint.
Wait, how much was it? Oh, so 20,000. 20,000 for the candidate slot.
deposit payment of 3
Well, the way to know if it worked for her would be to ask her about the
million
sales
yen
and stuff.
for their candidacy slot, which in ID's case would have somewhat been considered as a business investment. And it is hard to say that from a payoff standpoint, the additional customers that she received at her bar post-election broadcast was worth the 3 million yen deposit payment. And even if it did,
But this is based on Google reviews and other bar reviews. Okay. Like, please tell me you have some footage of her talking about it.
we still cannot holistically
Like in this video where she's crying, that seems like prime. Does she say something there? Please tell me she does.
say for certain that this was worth all the domestic as well as international disdain that she received for her conduct. And although she does hide it relatively well, seen from her tears, a degree of mental damage. And here is where we have to get into the deeper side of the story that not many people know. It turned out that ID was in a severe state of death by the time 2024 arrived. According to ID, the Pokemon card shop that she opened, also inside the Nakano ward, as in the case of her bar, recently went bankrupt. And she said that she had around 3 to 4 million yen in debt, in which she was relying on her parents to pay off. But during her time of financial despair, someone approached her with what seemed to be a helping hand. Tachibana Takashi, the leader of the anti-NHK party. Now, if we get into the very details of who Tachibana is, this video is going to be more than an hour long, so we are not going to do that. But in essence, Tachibana initially made a name for himself in Japan by utilizing the people's anti-NHK sentiments and the broadcasting agency's whole act of going around to people's houses and forcing them to pay television fees, found a degree of political success in the late 2000s.
Wait, Becca?
But in essence, Tachibana initially made a name for himself in Japan by utilizing the people's anti-NHK sentiments and the broadcasting agency's whole act of going around to people's houses and forcing them to pay television.
Okay, so he's opposed of that. He's opposed of the NHK
and the broadcasting agency's whole act of going around
collecting fines or fees from
people's houses and forcing them to pay television fees, found a degree of political success in the late 2010s, only to have now become one of the most detested political figures by the Japanese public for all the mere...
But do people like paying TV fees over there? I don't understand. How do you make a Pokemon card shop go bankrupt? Man, if you can't sell Pokemon cards, yeah, you got a lot of problems. Oh man.
Myriad types of annoying, borderline criminal, and sometimes downright criminal acts that he has conducted in the...
Whoa. Takashi, head of anti-NHK party, former house councilors, found guilty of forcible obstruction of business. So we got District 20, forcible obstruction of business. Violation of the Unfair Competition Prevention Act. I'm kind of curious what that act says. You know, it says Unfair Competition Prevention Act, but I'm pretty sure it's like there's something more to it.
The recent past. And now getting back to the relationship between ID and Tachibana. ID confessed in an interview that she actually knew Tachibana all the way back from 4 years ago. ID has not opened her own bar yet at the time and was working at a bar in Akasaka where Tachibana frequently came as a customer. They stayed in touch, and sometime in early 2024, a few weeks before the Tokyo elections, Tachibana visited ID at her bar in Nakano. He did not come alone, by the way. He also brought along one of his fans, who, with Tachibana's help, was running for governor in the upcoming Tokyo elections. They then persuaded ID to also consider running for governor. Tachibana told her to not worry about the 3 million yen deposit payment that all gubernatorial candidates have to make, as he said that
he sponsored it. So
he has already found a sponsor who was
but now she owes him though,
willing to pay the deposit payment for ID. Now, we do not know whether ID received any additional compensation from this sponsor, other than the 3 million yen deposit payment required.
I am willing to bet some other things are done behind the scenes. I'm just saying.
to run for governor. But with that said, Airi said that when she heard all of the cards that were handed to her by Tachibana, she thought that this was the chance to finally get herself out of debt, so decided to run for the election. However, this sponsor did not finance Airi's election campaign for absolutely no reason. They had certain demands that they wanted Airi to meet, which was
which was for her to aid indirect promoting the sponsoring company.
For her to aid in indirectly promoting the sponsoring company through her presence as an influencer and the platform that was given to her as a result of being a gubernatorial candidate. Now, there are two speculations in Japan regarding who Airi's sponsors exactly were. One was first a small freshwater eel specializing restaurant in Nishi Shinjuku. If you have thoroughly watched the
Are we about to get to like Yakuza shit over here? Like what's about to happen?
30 of Airi's live campaign broadcast. You know, as hard as that is, you'll have noticed that Airi has 3 types of food that she likes to eat: meat, fish, and genkotsu unagi. Now, the interesting thing about this is that when it comes to the meat and fish side of things, she uses the most general words for them, with plain and simple oniku and osakana. But then suddenly, when it comes to the eel side of her culinary liking, she actually could not be any more specific, as genkotsu unagi is a type of freshwater eel product that is literally only served in one specific restaurant location in all of Japan. As in, if you have a friend from Japan, go up to her or him and ask, "Do you like genkotsu unagi?" We can guarantee you that their answer will most likely be something along the lines of, "What on earth is genkotsu unagi?" And in the Article 235 of the Japanese Public Office Elections Act, it is specifically stipulated anyone who advertises a specific product or business in an election campaign broadcast or election poster board shall be punished with imprisonment for not more than 5 years.
Oh, but they're not going to imprison her for that. That probably slide under the radar. Now stripping nude on camera, there's probably be some fines and stuff. I imagine you try to do that in the U.S., man, they'll hit you up with all sorts of stuff.
Or a fine of not more than 1 million yen. And to
the FCC will be up your ass. The cops will be up your ass. You have a lot of people up your ass if you're on America and you try to strip down to a bikini. Imagine if that was Kamala. Kamala's saying, because while she's talking, she just strips down into a bikini. She's like a lingerie. Oh my God.
Add fuel to the fire, the specialty freshwater eel store in Nishi Shinjuku have put out a support campaign for Airi, saying that because the restaurant supports Airi, for anyone who followed the restaurant on Twitter and wrote the comment, #It'sNoAiri, they'll be selling their genkotsu unagi at the discounted price of 500 yen. Airi herself soon retweeted and promoted this ad on her own Twitter page. And of course, Tachibana, the mastermind who most likely came up with this whole idea in the first place, promptly retweeted Airi's tweet saying, "Genkotsu unagi, I want to eat it." So needless to say, many in
it's all a scam.
Japan criticized Tachibana.
Isn't that what politics kind of is in some ways, a lot of ways?
Airi and the Unagi restaurant for violating the Article 235 of the Japanese Public Office Elections Act. As to exactly why they have not yet been punished, there are several guesses in Japan, such as how Tachibana, as stupid as he acts, have actually somewhat thought all of this out to make sure that the stealth advertising can go unnoticed by the legal department of the Tokyo elections by making this restaurant start the Support ID campaign 2 days after the Tokyo gubernatorial elections have already finished. So many Japanese people question the restaurant of what the hell they were actually supporting, as the elections have already finished and the voting results for all of the candidates have long already came out. But then, exactly because they did all of these shenanigans after the elections and not during, the legal department of the Tokyo elections could have just not been bothered to follow up on this matter.
Yeah, and they're probably not going to. It happened after. It happened. That's kind of cool. I mean, it's some planning there. I don't know if it really worked for them, but I mean, I wish we had more numbers about that.
As it won't have any direct impact to the results of the elections anyways, so making sure that the laws are enforced is definitely an area where the Tokyo Elections Committee do have to step up a bit more. And unfortunately, this specialty freshwater eel store was not the only company that was alleged to have sponsored Airi's election campaign. So who are they this time? A rather scammy dating smartphone app. This could partly explain why ID's live election campaign speech literally had no mentioning about policies or future plans as a governor, as such discussion was of no interest whatsoever from the perspective of our sponsor. Being a dating app that is primarily targeted towards men, they most likely wanted ID to dedicate the precious 6 minutes of live airtime that she was given on national television towards attracting national level clout, lean as much as possible towards female sex appeal, and have as many Japanese voters as possible to scan the QR code that was advertised by ID.
皆さん、LINE のお友達登録してね。
But then we may think, didn't the QR code directly link a person to ID's private line account? How is this
Probably not.
related in any way to promoting the dating app? And here is where the really scammy part that angered much of the Japanese public begins to get uncovered.
Whether it's like multiple QR codes.
First of all, it is true that the QR code that ID shared led the person to ID's Line Messenger account. However, the problem was that not all of such of ID's QR codes, especially the ones plastered all over some government poster boards led by Tachibana, connected you to ID's DMs.
Ah, of course.
These campaign posters, although it had the name of ID's political party written on it, Watch My Cute Political Campaign, when one scanned the QR code of such of ID's election poster, the person was then directed to a smartphone dating app where you had to pay money in order to talk to the beautiful woman as seen on the poster. We believe we all do not have to be rocket scientists to know that most of the replies that you get on the app are going to be AI generated.
Absolutely. And I bet you there were suckers that fell for that crap too.
Or just some random part-time worker who's working on minimum wage posing as a woman. Now, the way you differentiate between which of the posters on the government campaign board actually led to ID's Line account and which one led to the fraudulent dating app was of whether the photo on the poster was that of ID herself or some AI-generated looking individual. Now, the legal and ethical problem of blatantly utilizing an election poster board for private...
They use an election board to sell a dating app. That is so current now, man. That is so like Blade Runner. That is 2024, 2025. That is it, man. Dude, we are in the age of idiocracy. It's all about the pan out. It's all about the pan out. That is some next level sleaze. That is, oh man, that is so grimy. He's like, yeah, I'm not in for into the politics of it. I'm just selling a dating app. Oh man.
Financial gain aside, although those issues themselves are a very serious issue, there's a larger potential danger to such legal loopholes.
Is that a gamer chair?
Themselves are a very serious issue. There's a larger...
Yeah, he has one of those AK racing chairs. What the hell?
Potential danger to such legal loophole regarding the usage of the Tokyo gubernatorial election poster boards. The harmful effects that this could have towards the more innocent-minded, credulous children and teenagers. This government poster board...
Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, you think the little kids are going to be scanning QR codes on political boards? Come on now. Come on, I don't believe that at all. These kids are going to be running around scanning QR codes on political message boards?
More innocent-minded, credulous children and teenagers. This government poster board in front of the Nakano Ward government office building, for instance, has...
Now, maybe if you threw some Pokemon on there, they'll be scanning it. But like, an 8-year-old boy walking by this, he's probably not even going to pay any attention to any of this right here. Why would he? But there's some Pokemon there. Yeah, he might.
ID's campaign poster plastered all over the board. And the huge problem with this is that this location also has a return box nearby where many elementary and middle schoolers come to return the books in which they have borrowed from the Nakano Public Library. And you guys know how the new generation is like. Most of them have a smartphone now and can easily scan this QR code out of curiosity. Then
and they install one more dating app that they probably already have. Let's be honest about that one.
Driven middle schooler,
but depending on how old these kids are,
who's yet to have much life experience, starts talking to whom he thinks is this beautiful girl from the app, gets immersed into this endeavor. Then
that's how you find who the retard is in your class. You're like, bro, you got one of those dating apps? Yeah. So you know they're bots, man. They're not even real.
Bad things could absolutely happen on a subsequent basis, such as the teenager putting in their parents' credit card info to continue the experience, and so
Yeah, you get those concerns about Twitch too, and it's like, okay.
on. And if such legal loopholes and what Tachibana himself describes as poster business regarding the Tokyo gubernatorial
I think we
elections
got the
does not
most of
get
this.
amended for the better on a prompt
I think we got the most of this here. So the whole thing was a scam. It was a scam to sell a dating app. Well, actually, two things really: her bar and then also a dating app. Okay. Wow. I mean, there's worse things. there are far worse things people do in politics. Hey, they could be lying to you, telling you all the stuff that you want to hear to get in, and next thing you know, starting wars. And hey, your son and daughter, hey, they might go into that thing. Yeah, you know, man, or they raise your taxes, and oh man, you work hard, but you're making less. So this right here, I'm just like, well, it's a cool stunt. It was funny. But like I said, it kind of helped me realize that, like, if this were to happen here in the States too, it'd be like, well, the joke of it is funny, but it's still, you're watching someone who's desperately seeking attention, and that's what it comes off as. And it's like, no, I'm not voting for you. The joke of it is funny, but that's as far as that goes. Anyway, yeah, so shout out to the channel, though. Asia Analysis with Al and Helen. Interesting there. Oh, look, we got cheap views. We got a bot here. I love the bots. You can buy cheap views, man. Did you know that? Did you know you could buy cheap views? Wow. And I guess, like, the curse of that is, like, I think you'd probably be flagged on Twitch.